Hey guys, welcome out to the range. Today I'm set up to run some drills. This is just a basic drill of two targets 5 yards apart, 5 yards separated from one another, and then there's two shooting positions back here 5 yards apart, and it's supposed to be 5 shots per position. I don't really want to do that because that's a lot of ammo, so I'm going to do like 3 shots per position. I mean, you could even do 2 shots per position, but anyway, so I'm going to do 3 shots per position, and all you're really doing, this is not a tactical. This is not a scenario drill. This is a skill drill. And the vast majority of what I do handgun-wise comes from Dave Spalding. So I want to make sure that the credit goes to the man that I got this stuff from. Well, let me back up. Dave Spalding and Ken Hackathorn are really the only 2 instructors that I've ever trained with that actually train in what I would consider combatives. Which is, no, I'm sorry, there's a third, Rich Nance. But Rich Nance trains in the Dave Spalding style. In fact, they've actually co-done a class. So anyways, combatives is, there's a lot of motion in combatives. And so that's what these drills are about. So anyways, the reason I like this drill a lot is when you see me shooting, you're going to see me shoot, and you're going to see me doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing, what is it? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this, you know, keep the muzzle pointed down range while you run, which is a lot of the competition shooting techniques where you see guys like running like this. And I'm sure as hell not doing this crap. I do shoot, and then the gun comes up, and I just take off and go. And you're gonna get muzzled. The point to this, when I teach people, the point to this is, I tell them, you're going to muzzle people in a gunfight, and you're going to get muzzled in a gunfight. And as long as my finger is in a, I hate the word safe, as long as my finger is in a position where it is less likely to pull that trigger, you need to just understand you're going to get muzzled in a gunfight. I've been muzzled, not even in a gunfight. I got muzzled on a regular basis by cops, some of which I trusted, some of which I didn't. It was just, the point is, it was just the reality. It was the reality of all those guns being out. It's just, is what it is. So, I know right now I'm slaying the sacred cow, and people are going to get all crazy and get all hot pockets in the comment section. Hot pockets! Don't really care. My channel, you can start your own channel. But this drill, the reason I like this drill is, any drill that requires move, stop, stabilize, shoot, move automatically sucks you in. So by the time you do the second iteration and you're on your way back, you are already lost in everything you're supposed to be doing, which means that what you're supposed to be doing should be already ingrained in you. And you should only be thinking about shot placement. You shouldn't be thinking about foot placement, hand placement, grasping the gun in a certain manner. It should only be about finding that dot, taking that shot, and then taking off again. And this drill reminds you to always have your trigger finger in a position where it is less likely to pull the trigger. Now this is a Glock 17, this is not a Glock 19, and this camera is well over my head, and I'm 6'4", which is why I look short on camera and why this gun looks small. But this is a Glock 17, so I understand that not everybody can do this maneuver. Not everybody can get their finger this high on the gun. That's fine, but don't have your finger here. Sure as hell don't have your finger here. Consider having your finger registered this way, so should you flinch, it is less likely to end up in the trigger guard. Because what we don't understand is when we flinch, well, let me put it this way. People understand that when you flinch, your fingers contract. What they don't understand is your fingers consolidate and contract simultaneously. It isn't just contraction. Watch. What are the fingers doing? They're coming together, aren't they? If they're just flinching, how can I do this? If they were to just contract, it would basically look like this. There you go. It essentially looked like that. But no, human hands, human fingers contract, consolidate, and contract. Well, if they're consolidating and contracting, there is an opportunity for that trigger finger to end up in the trigger guard and pull the trigger, which is why I hook my trigger finger high, and I actually have videos called Trigger Finger High. And I hook high to mitigate the chances of my trigger finger ending up in my trigger and pulling the trigger. So for this, we're gonna just do, let's do a 10-second timer. I'm just gonna do, let's just do 2 shots per target. These are 3x5 cards, spray painted on steel. This one's got a few shots on it because I just finished filming another video with it. It's gonna be 2, move, 5 yards, 2, move back, 2, move back. So however many versions or however many movements I can do in 10 seconds, we'll do that. And this will begin from the ready position. All right, see that right there? That right there is why I keep training. I forget if that was the first shot or the second shot, but the point is, this is what I was aiming at, and there's my miss. And while this is still on the body, someone would be like, well, yeah, no problem. You aimed small, and you missed small. Yeah, but I need to be hitting the heart and the pericardium, which is represented by a 3x5 card. Okay, so clearly that first run was all kinds of embarrassing, so now we're going to do 20-second part-time. Ready position, I guess I should, hang on. Okay, ready position is feet spread really far apart. It isn't the way that I was trained as a cop, which was feet shoulders width apart, knees bent, butt sticking out, this kind of garbage. This is what you do in combatives, and what you can't see is I'm actually on the balls of my feet right now. I'm not back on the heels, I'm actually forward on the balls of the feet. So this leg is already sprung, ready for toe off. This one is already leaning forward, ready to move. And I'm in a fighting position where I can take off if I need to. And the second I take off, this support hand comes off the gun. And the gun, the trigger finger goes high, and the gun comes about here, and I move. I am still fighting years of shooting. I used to shoot IPSC, and then also just, law enforcement stuff, of the safe direction of the muzzle. I'm still trying to fight away from that. And also, like when you do the box drill, for example, there are people back here when you're doing the box drill. You have to be aware of that. Even Dave Spalding will tell you, near the end of his career in teaching, there were ranges he was going where the NRA guys were so sticklers about muzzle direction that he had to just start taking entire swaths of instruction and just shelving them because he couldn't teach them anymore. People were just losing their mind. Why we're here. So ready position, the pistol goes just underneath my lead eye, which for me is left eye. And as soon as the buzzer sounds, I extend it out, I fire the 2 shots, and then I move. This is a drill that every time I do it, it's a reminder of how fast our bodies degrade. I don't work out like I used to. I spend so much time doing this and making slings that I don't get out here as often as I should. And I used to hit the trails 5 days a week, do a 3-mile hike, basically on a version of the Overland course. So it's trail running. And just time, guys. Time and weather. I mean, as you can see around us, there's a lot of snow right now. So time and weather. The weather's been horrendous lately. So for several days in a row, I've not done anything. And yesterday I went for a hike. It went fine, but still. Bruh. So anyways, I leave the misses in to my videos because I want you guys to understand them for what they are. Training, especially with handgun, is so demanding. Handgun requires so much dedication from you that if you do not constantly stay on top of it, you will degrade rapidly. one of the points that Dave Spalding teaches in his classes is that he cites an Olympic tennis instructor who talks about how his students, his athletes, are at a certain peak efficiency on Friday. I forget what the number was that the guy gave, but it was like 90, 80 or 90 something %. And he has certain criteria that he runs people on. And they would go home over the weekend, they'd come back on Monday and they'd hit the courts again. And he would run the standards again on them. And he would notice a marked difference. I forget what it was. It was, I want to say it was like 10 or 15% degradation of performance. I forget what it was. But that's a, if you can quantify, let's just say 10%. If you can quantify 10% of something, that is a number that can be measured. And you're talking about a serious degradation in performance over 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. How many of us actually get out here? I mean, I come out here on a regular basis. I don't come out here anywhere near as much as I should. But I try to make it out here at least once a week to fire off 100 or so rounds, invest 100 or so rounds in training on drills like this that only take 2, 4, 6, 8 rounds at a time. How many of us ask yourself the question? I don't need to hear about it in the comment section. In fact, don't, because then you'll just get dogpiled. But you need to ask yourself a very severe question. If you're carrying a handgun for defensive purposes, are you practicing with that handgun at the level that you should? And if you're not, you need to change. You need to change what your priorities are. I said it. You need to change what your priorities are. For some of us, it's just a scheduling issue. For others of us, it's a physical issue. Several months ago, my knee would not let me move. It was so bad. I've got some injuries from when I was a cop, and every once in a while I do something really dumb, and it catches me, and I got to hobble around for a while. And doing this kind of thing is darn near impossible, because I do not want to take a trick knee and turn it into a bum knee. I'm going to reload. All right, let's do this one more time, and then I will let you guys go. See, and I forget how it was that I used to do this drill, but there were a certain amount of movements that were done and you stopped. And now, the way I'm doing it with the 20-second par, I keep forgetting it's not about it's actually just keep going. Anyways, honestly, what's stopping me are these misses. Look, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. The moment of ignition for me, I move, stop, stabilize. So this foot, as I'm running, comes in, this one plants, and this one comes up to it. So basically it's there, right there. I have a central sight picture. The problem, and I know what the problem is that was edge. That was an edge hit. The problem is I'm yanking. I'm doing this because as a lefty, guys, it's really hard to isolate the thumb from the index finger. From a medical standpoint, these fingers are actually treated as one finger. So it's really difficult to make your trigger finger, to isolate your trigger finger from your thumb without there being sympathetic motion of the handgun, which is why the gas pedal cut is machined into my slide, or into my frame. And mine is actually level. And I believe that Aim Surplus actually has this code in the computer now. So if you decide to get the custom deluxe package from them, ask them to do your gas pedal cut flat, because they did this for me, and like I said, I think they saved it in the computer. So it becomes flat, straight across, because this thumb, well, and I should add this, if you have gargantuan hands and your thumb is capable of making it out that far on the frame, please consider having your gas pedal cut flat. If your hands are smaller, your support hand is going to end up about here, which means you probably want to have an angled gas pedal gun. Just something to think about. But the point is, the support hand's job is to create the tension this way to mitigate the shooting hand's ability to do this. So handgun is the determiner of performance, which is why I keep doing these drills right here, because they are severely humbling. Anyways, I'll let you guys go because this video's already gone on for too long. But you guys know that the tone of this channel is to give you unfettered truth in the most distilled manner possible, and sometimes I kind of go on for a while. But it's not getting better out here, guys. And if you are carrying a weapon for defensive purposes, you sure as hell need to know what you're doing with that gun. Otherwise, you're a detriment to yourself and those around you. And whenever I put this gun on, my wife watched me getting dressed one day, and she watched me, and she goes, "It's funny watching you put all that stuff on that you carry." And she knows the level of effort that I put into this. And she says, she recognizes that this is an inconvenience. And I'm like, trust me when I tell you, ain't nothing cool about having a Glock 17 shoved down the front of your pants, and it catches the suprapubic area, which is right here, and it just bruises this area so badly because it's constantly poking you. This is not a tiny handgun, this is a very big handgun. And it causes the inguinal notch right here to always be bruised, and it causes my hip to hurt sometimes. So it's a choice that you have to make if you choose to be armed. As always, I thank you guys for watching. I thank you for supporting me at tier1citizen.com. As always, God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one.